Good morning. I've just come back from my morning walk, doing some morning reading and having my cup of coffee. Well, it's the first of several cups of coffee, but if you know me, it's a regular routine. I want to talk today about something very near and dear to me, and a reminder for something fuzzy going on here on my jacket, photographs. Learning how to Zoom call and, well, I better take these glasses off. Good morning again. My name is Mark Kolke, and I walk and talk and write every day. I also do some work to make a living, but I focus more, I think, than a lot of people do on writing what's on my mind, and more recently, getting back into a practice of talking about what's on my mind. I'm a public speaker without a public stage during the pandemic, and a bit rusty perhaps, but also reflective on if I'm getting back on a stage, on this stage or any stage, what is my purpose? Am I doing it just as an exercise, which certainly it is. Practice makes better, I think. Practice gets our confidence back up, doesn't matter what we're doing. And doing something as a regular routine, whether it's the morning walk or better eating habits, better working habits, it makes us all better. So I want to make myself better, make my life better. And in talking about it, perhaps help make someone else's life better, or give them a nugget of truth, or something to think about. And in my file of morning things that I read every morning, because I have a note in there, it says, never miss twice. I try to do this every day, and more about that in another talk on another day. But the first page that greets me every morning, and I don't know if it's going to show up very well here, is, what is nobody doing that I should be doing? And that's pretty profound, don't you think? What is nobody doing that I ought to be doing? What should my mission be going forward to do that's different or new, or that I'm already doing that nobody else is doing, so the world will be to pass my door? Well, I'm not that youngster I once was, with delusions of finding the perfect product or service where the world would be to pass my door. But I am at a stage of my life and career where I'm looking for new things, or to do some of the things I do really well better, and perhaps carry a message to a wider audience. And that comes down to expectations. What are my expectations of me? What are your expectations of you? What should we all be expecting in our spectrum? I remember doing a talk at a Toastmasters club a few years ago about life expectancy. And I began it by talking about actuarial things. How long should we expect to live? Sort of connecting lifestyle and longevity. And then I shifted gears, because I didn't really want to talk about that kind of expectancy, but more about what do we expect of ourselves? What are our expectations of what we can do, what we're capable of, and what we might do that would be really valuable that we haven't even thought of yet, because the opportunity hasn't arrived, or we haven't made the opportunity arrive. And if you have difficulty grasping that concept, just pick a year, pick the past year, or pick any year of your life, and recognize that at the beginning of that year, there were a lot of things you knew, and many of those came true. The same people had birthdays, you worked at the same job or occupation or career, maybe some minor changes, maybe you moved, but most likely you didn't move, because people don't move every year. Maybe you bought a new car, but maybe you just kept driving the old one, because most people don't buy a new car every year. See where I'm going with this? A lot of parts of our life are consistent. They stay the same. And we expect they're going to stay the same. We're not expecting disruption. We're not expecting change. We're expecting sameness. And I think there's a lot of comfort that comes from that continuity of knowing what we can count on. We know that when we drive home, our house will still be at the same place on the block and our key will still fit the door. We expect that the people in our lives, partners, spouses, children, parents, will still be in our lives, neighbors, colleagues. Oh, and now you're probably thinking, yeah, but the obituary page is going to take some of those people out of our game. That's true, but we have a large part of our life that is sameness, continuation of what was continuing already. But then there's the other side of that coin, where look at that same year, any year, the one just passed or the one in front of you. How many things are going to come into your life that you didn't count on? Some of them will be sad or difficult. We all have some of those. But some of them will be exciting, happy, surprises. Oh, that happened. I met that person and they changed my life. I had that opportunity and it changed me. I had that opportunity and I helped someone affect change in their life. Now, imagine you're walking down the street with a wide focus on your vision. You're seeing both sides of the street. You're seeing opportunities. You're going to notice them. Now, imagine you're the horse with blinders on going down the center of the street and you can only see straight ahead of you. And you don't see the full spectrum. So that's what I'm getting at. Expectations and expectancy live in only one place. They live in your mind. Your life expectations, your expectancy and your life expectations, what you anticipate in every day, week, month, and year is in your head. Just as what is in mine is in my head. So what is nobody doing that I should be doing? What can I be doing? And I'm not saying we should just discard everything we're doing and look for new things where we have no experience or talent or appetite. Not at all. Quite the opposite. I think we need to look at all the things in our inventory of skill sets, experiences, things we know how to do, people we know, the turf we're familiar with. Say, how can I use that to help me do the things I want to do, which might be a lot of doing the same things because we need the revenue from our business or our job. Of course, we need to do a lot of the same things. But for new things, where's the magic? Is it just going to be, you might get lucky on March 15th and somebody will give you a great idea, and otherwise it's another blown year. Summer arrives and you're looking for that great summer romance and she or he doesn't float into your life at some magical moment. Because for most of us, that doesn't happen most years. It happened to me recently, but that's another story. But my point here is that the magic is already in us. The experiences and skills and tools are already in our toolbox. But what do we expect to do with them? And if we expect nothing, we'll get nothing. If we have high expectations for what we can do, what we can accomplish, how we can move the dial for someone. Because we just move the dial for ourselves. I did this and I made more money. I did this and I felt better. I did this and I was healthier. I did this and I met new people. I met this and I was more charming, or I took a course or I did something. Those are all wonderful things, but they're me things. They're for me. And that's like eating an ice cream cone. It's very satisfying in the moment and you enjoy it. It's sweet tasting. and then it's gone. But I think the things that are more worthwhile are things that they might be for us. We're doing because we're going to feel good. We're going to feel better. We're going to make money. We're going to have a strategic accomplishment of some kind in our own lives. But if that's on the foundation of an ice cream cone, it's not going to last, and it's not going to have lasting value. And I think we should set our expectations higher. And I'm not saying go out and attach yourself to a do-gooder charity that you have no connection with just to say, hey, I'm volunteering, I'm helping out, I'm donating time, effort, and money. Not that those are bad things. You know, give time, give effort, give money, of course. Be of service to your community and your fellow man. But if you're going to do something with that toolbox, that skill set, that experience you have, that's maybe new and fresh and life-altering, first, I think it needs to be life-altering for someone else. Is it going to be life-altering for a person or a group of people or for an organization or for a cause? Is there a windmill out there worth tilting at? Then our expectations and our skills can kick into high gear, and we're going to get enormous benefit from that. Number one, if we are helping someone or some group or some cause, we make the human condition better in some way. It might be tiny, or might be tiny at first and it grows from there. But I've also had some experiences where something tiny became big and powerful and lasting, and it had a lasting impact on a lot of people. And for the most part, when we do those things, we don't get our plaque on a building with our name on it. We don't get acknowledgement in the history books, but we get it right here where it counts inside. We know that in addition to doing some good work or making a living or networking with some great people, that we really made a contribution. We did something that wasn't being done by anyone else. No one else could do it. No one else cared to do it, but we cared to do it. And we moved the needle on something. And given the brevity of our lives, we better get going if we're going to move the needle on something. Now, what I haven't talked about so far here, and I think it's a really important component in this discussion, is expectations. Well, not so much expectation of emotions. That's the better way to say it. I expect to be emotional about things I care about. I expect to be relatively blasé about things I don't care about. I care about something. My energy is unbounded. I have time for it. I lose sleep for it. I set other things aside for it. Whether it's that special person, that group, that cause, that meeting, that project, that deadline. We sometimes wonder, how did we find the energy? Where was it? Was it just adrenaline driven? Or was it deeper than that? Was it emotional, not just chemical? And I think that knowing that our emotions will benefit, our good feeling about ourselves will benefit by doing good, sounds like stating the obvious. I went out and did a good deed. I helped a little old lady across the street, or a little old man. I did something for someone. Of course, we know from childhood that when we do a good deed for someone, it feels good, and it is good. And we were taught that by our parents and by society. Well, the person we need to do the most good for well-being and good health, good emotional health, is ourselves. And we do that by being selfless, not selfish, but selfless. We're doing it not for ourselves, but we're doing it for someone else. So whether you're writing a letter, making a call, organizing a committee, mounting the charge on a cause or an issue or a project, something that's a great idea, ask first, who am I doing it for? Am I doing it for me? Or am I doing it for someone else? And I think the things that we are most proud of are things that make a difference and move the needle in the world for someone else. And we might be doing it out of our own joy or pain or greed or whatever it is that's driving us to get started on an activity. But the real winners, the real decent causes, the worthy projects, the things that make a difference in our lives are the things that make the biggest difference in someone else's life. And for that, the emotional payoff is magnificent. And it's not an ice cream cone. It's a gift that keeps on giving and giving and giving. And every time you tell a story or recount a memory of something or connect with somebody connected with something you did successfully, the payback is huge. So ask yourself, what is nobody doing I should be doing? Somebody should be doing something for you. And the person is you. Do for you by doing for others. If we spread it around, whether it's our smiles or our labor, our ideas, our bringing attention to a cause or fixing a problem, whether that's picking up a scrap of paper on a parking lot or changing a law, these are all within our grasp as human beings. These are not beyond our capability. We can do them if we have high expectations of ourselves. So let's have high expectations of ourselves and of others. And if we show that, we lift other people too, because their expectations of what can be done and what their worth is will grow as well. And everybody's going to feel good about that. So that's a big emotional payoff. I'm going to wrap this up now. I hope you enjoyed this talk. My name is Mark Kolke, and I'm going to have another cup of coffee now. We just have to figure out how to stop this.